The absolute superpower that Donald Trump has is making his critics do exactly what he's hoping for, like this.
Chicago's issues have been going down, as many cities have. Some go up, they go up and down and up and down. But to come in and talk and to bully and say, we sending in ICE, you're not supposed to. Why are you sending in ICE?
What Whoopi is discussing there is the expected National Guard and ICE push into Chicago. Donald Trump on Truth Social on Saturday posted this AI meme of himself in the war movie Apocalypse Now with the caption, "I love the smell of deportations in the morning. Chicago about to find out why it's called the Department of War." Now, this follows similar National Guard deployments to other heavily Democrat cities like Los Angeles and Washington, D.C. Now, there's a lot to unpack in these deployments. There's whether or not they are effective, whether or not the sight of National Guard troops in metropolitan cities makes America look good. But I think the most interesting takeaway from all of this is that it's just such a flashpoint for which of the two parties is tough on crime. Crime is, was, always will be a chief concern for American voters. An Associated Press poll in August, just last month, found that 81% of voters think that crime is a major problem in American cities. So whether or not murders or robberies or assaults are up or down over a 6-month or a year-long period, blah, 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 as long as voters fear being the victim of crime, it is going to inform their vote. So I think this is a chief reason for Trump deploying the National Guard. In that classic Donald Trump way, he's gone all in on something at breakneck speed to show how serious he is. What's also interesting is the reactions. Democrats get so flustered by Trump's approach that they seek to downplay crime and assign these sinister, weird motives for the deployment of the National Guard, which may feel good for them to stand up to big bully Mr. Trump, but really just shows voters that they're not taking crime seriously, which is a tough pill for 81% of voters to swallow. Which brings us to The View. The View returned from its summer hiatus for season 29 this week, and you'd think in that time off, you touch some grass, reconnect with the world, get out of the left rage bubble, but no. The second this National Guard in Chicago issue came up, they got on the horse again. Here's what Joe Behar led off with.
A lot of authoritarians do that. This is nothing new around the world. When they become autocrats,
but
they
some
start
of
with
it is
crime.
legitimate. Like, you can't dismiss that.
Honestly, it's like Trump wrote that script for her. To leap straight to thinking that the tough on crime approach makes Trump a wannabe dictator is exactly the message Trump wants the left sending to voters, because it means that one party is talking tough about crime and how to solve it, taking drastic action, and the other party is pushing that same apocalyptic fan fiction they've been pushing for 10 years, which just makes them sound crazy. Now, Joy wasn't alone in this kind of brilliant analysis.
Chicago's issues have been going down, as many cities have. Some go up, they go up and down and up and down. But to come in and talk and to bully and say, we sending in ICE, you're not supposed to. Why are you sending in ICE?
But this is the thing, even if it were true that noted political commentator Whoopi Goldberg was right and Chicago's crime problem is going down, people don't feel safe. Again, 81% of voters think crime in cities is a major problem. It feels like there is a crisis, which politically speaking is exactly the same as there being one. And if Democrats and left figures like Whoopi downplay that issue as something that's being fixed without this major action, then you're telling people their fears are unjustified. And if one party says your fear is shared, justified and true, and the other doesn't, who do you think they're more likely to vote for?
Isn't this a lot of this big distraction from the fact that his approval rating is in the toilets right now? 52% of Americans say the economy is getting worse. 24% say it's getting better. Also, the Epstein thing hangs over his head. So a lot of this is a big distraction.
Okay, it's more of the same. That theme of the crime crisis not being serious is just this tennis ball that Trump is dangling in front of voters to distract them from whatever these real issues are.
Because they want to round up immigrants. They want to conflate crime and immigration. They want to terrorize vulnerable communities. And J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois, had a very strong response to this. And one of the lines that stuck with me was, authoritarians thrive on your silence. Be loud for America.
Okay, let's make sure we all got that one right. You need to be loud for America by opposing a coordinated effort to enforce American law and act on the mandate given by a majority of American voters. I don't think that one is going to work out for the left, but I'll tell you what, this is my favorite one.
Didn't he run on it being an anti-war candidate? The MAGA people who voted for him, one of the reasons they liked him is because he was against war. He took on Bush. I guess that didn't include war against your own people in your own country.
That's the pick of the bunch. Now, the meme with Chicago learning why it's called the Department of War, that's a lot. But what it isn't is serious. It's that same kind of Trump trash talking that we're all used to. And sensible political commentators have learned to separate the trash talking to the actual actions and policies. But to say that deploying the National Guard to fight crime is a war against the American people is just ridiculous. They are there to fight crime. When you say instead that they're there to fight the American people, it has the effect of saying that if you believe in a tougher on crime approach, it's tantamount to hating your country because you're at war with your own people. Again, it is just like Donald Trump wrote these script for these people to read. Now, the crazy part of that segment is that one of the Views hosts at the very start of it spelled it out for the panel. Alyssa Farah-Griffin knows exactly why Trump has been doing all this.
And what he's trying to do, and I'd caution Democrats, he's trying to goad them into saying there is no problem with crime in this whole country. He wants people to take this stance.
We know better than that.
I know, but I think we've had this cycle where Democrats can downplay an issue, the border and some crime in cities, and then Trump swoops in and overcorrects in the most massive way. I've never supported having troops in American cities. It doesn't make sense. It's not the way to police the streets. But Chicago, for example, over Labor Day weekend, 8 people were murdered and 25 plus people were hit with stray bullets. That deserves a response. It deserves a law enforcement response.
So even with the handbook given to them, even with the stats on crime that has people in Chicago so scared, the View co-hosts couldn't help themselves and launched into the same absolute drivel they've been serving up for years. Honestly, Donald Trump could not have designed a better left for him to run against. Thanks again for watching these videos. Really means a lot to me. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Sky News below, and you can stay up to date with not just me, but the much, much better commentators we have on this page. And if you did like this video, let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you all next week.